guys. Hope everyone is had a good week and that you are excited for the weekend. This is going to be our last video lecture or our last lecture for the year. And I never imagined that this was the way that we were going to end lectures, but here we are. You will have an assignment next week. It'll be a really, really small assignment, but you will not have a lecture. So this will be the last lecture. These are the last concepts that we're going to cover this term. Today we're going to talk really quickly about circuits and magnets. Again, this is about this much possible material to cover, but I don't want to make these videos too long, so we're just going to run through it really quickly. You guys will do a little summative assessment like you have been doing, and some USA test prep and some questions on this. And again, you will have an assignment next week, so we're not done, but it'll be a very small assignment, and it'll just kind of wrap up the year. All right, so circuits. We talked a little bit about circuits last time. So a circuit is a closed path through which electrons can flow. There are two kinds of circuits. There are series circuits, which means it only has one path to travel through. So in a series circuit, you have one possible path of travel. We know that it has to be a closed loop. We notice that the switch here is closed for electrons to flow through. So a series circuit is one path. An example of this would be a flashlight or your holiday lights. They're not so much anymore. Back in the day, holiday lights, if you had one light go out, it broke the circuit and therefore the rest of the lights went out. Now they have little kind of preventative wiring in there, so that doesn't happen. You can actually pull the bulb out and the whole circuit, or excuse me, the whole string of lights doesn't go out, but that's the way it used to be. Parallel circuits contain more than one path current to travel through. And again, my big squash is blocking some of this, but in this parallel circuit, you can see we have the battery, we have the energy source, we have the switch which is closed, and electricity can flow through this way, but it can also flow, and there's wire over here where my face is, through this way. So when there's more than one possible path, that's a parallel circuit. Now these things aren't mutually exclusive. A parallel circuit, an example would be your house is a parallel circuit, our school is a parallel circuit. And a good indication of something is working with parallel circuits is you can use many things at one time. They're not going to affect each other. For example, in your house, you can use your hair dryer in your bathroom to blow dry your hair while your sibling or parent is watching TV in the other room. Both of these are using electrical circuits. Obviously, these two things don't interfere with one another, so therefore it's a good hint to us that it's a parallel circuit. Same thing for the school. We know that there's different things going on in different classrooms. They don't interfere with each other. So some circuits be a combination. So you can see we have the switch here, we have our battery, we have the energy source, the wire conductors, and then we have light bulbs. So this circuit right here, this is in series. So there's one possible path for the for the electrons to flow through. However, because here we have one path and we have a second path, these two here, that's a wild arrow, are parallel circuits. So in this picture, we have both series circuits and parallel circuits. Don't worry, none of the questions I'm going to ask you is going to ask you to differentiate between the two as far as pictures go. I want a working understanding of the difference between series and parallel circuits. Okay, so our final conversation on circuits is going to have to do with overheating. So we know that there's circuits in our house. We've probably heard the word circuit breaker. We're going to talk a little bit about why we have those and what that actually means. If too much voltage is applied to the circuit, the voltage is like electrical force. It's pushing those electrons through. And so if we have too much pressure, if we have too much pushing, it's applied to a circuit that can't handle it, the circuit can overheat. You can understand in a house, a circuit with overheating, why that could be really dangerous because it can start a fire, and we could have an electrical fire in our house. So we have two main ways that we stop that. One is much less common than the other these days. So the first, which is a older way to do this, and that is this picture right up here, is a fuse box. In a fuse, they're little, they look like, I wish I had a fuse to show you, but I don't. They're little circles, and it almost looks like a light bulb with a screw on the end, and they screw into these holes in the fuse box. Inside those fuses, there's a small piece of metal that melts when the circuit overheats, and it opens the circuit and prevents current from flowing. So that little piece of metal melts, therefore breaks the circuit. That electrical circuit is no longer moving electricity, and that prevents the circuit from overheating. What is much more common these days is a circuit breaker. You probably have one in your house, unless you have a really old house. And typically at this point, usually even really old houses have been rewired to have circuit breakers. And so instead of a piece of metal that melts and breaks the circuit, in a circuit breaker, there's a piece of metal that bends. So again, not going to ask you any questions on that. I just wanted you to know it's something that's interesting to me when I first learned about it. So fuses and circuit breakers. You can ask your parents to tell you about fuses, because I'm sure growing up they all had them in their house. I know I did. All right, our very final topic is magnets. It breaks my heart. We are not covering this in class because I have a lot of really cool toys to play with, and we're going to do a lot of really cool things with magnets. So hopefully when I see you guys next year, if we have extra time, or maybe in some kind of after school session, we can play with them, because I'm glad that you guys got to miss out on that. But, all right, magnets. Magnetism is the property of some materials that allows them to give off an attractive or repulsive force. Not all materials can be magnets. There are only special materials that can be magnets. A magnet is a material that gives off an external magnetic field, making it possible to apply a force over a distance. And so you may wonder why, to begin with, magnets are covered alongside constants and electricity. And the reason for that is we're going to see how these two things are related. And how there's a theme throughout that a lot of the things that are true for electricity are also true for magnetism. All right, magnetic force. And again, my big squash is in the way. This is the north pole of the magnet. Okay. All magnetic objects have a force between them. It can be attractive or repulsive. And so, this starting to sound a little bit like electricity. Think about some of those other forces like electricity. Is this similar or different from them? It is similar. It is similar to electrical force, for example, in that opposites attract and like forces repel. So we know that similarly charged entities, so if they have a lot of electrons and they have a negative charge, or they have an absence of electrons, positive charge, they're going to be pushed apart. Similarly, we learned in our last lecture that if there is a negatively charged and a positively charged electrically entities, they're going to bounce one another. The same is true for magnets. Force is strongest at the magnetic poles. So for example, the magnetic force is weaker here than it is here. So at the tippy top of these poles, which is like the ends right here, that is where the force is the strongest. Typically, when we're talking about magnetic force, we don't talk about the positive and negative end, we talk about north and south. And we will talk in a few minutes about how that relates to the north and south poles here on our Earth and why we have those. All right, magnetic poles cannot be isolated. So to me, this is the coolest thing about magnets, and this was the thing that blew my mind when I learned it. So if you were to try to break a magnet in half, you would not get a half south pole magnet and a half north pole magnet. That would not happen. What instead would happen is that you would get two identical little mini magnets. And so the reason for this is that the magnetical forces rearrange themselves to take up whatever space that magnet is taking up. Basically, if you snap these two in half, instead of getting half south and half north, you're going to get two identical little baby magnets, south and north. We won't get too much into how exactly that happens, because we would spend hours on it. But anyway, that's one thing that I think is really neat, is that you can't break a magnet in half and get two halves of the magnet. It will automatically rearrange into new magnets. So the reason that magnetics attract and repulse each other is they have a magnetic field. Again, a lot like an electric field. Magnetic fields result in a force that is either attractive or repulsive, opposite attract, and like repels. And so this is not a foreign concept to you. You know that certain magnets, if you hold them next to each other, as soon as they're within range of each other, they will snap together. Those are obviously opposite magnets. That's the north and the south pole magnet. Similarly, if you take two south poles, two north poles, and you try to put them together, as you get much closer, you will literally be able to feel them pushing each other away. So again, that's something that most people have played with magnets since they were in grade school. This isn't earth-shattering, but that's because of the magnet. So let's talk for a minute about Earth's magnetic field. Really cool thing. Earth's core is made of various metals that are oriented back like a giant bar magnet. So we know we're familiar with the concept of north and south pole, and those are actually like the north and south pole of a magnet. But we'll talk for a second about compasses. So On a compass, if any of you are Boys and Girl Scouts, or you like to hike, or maybe just for whatever other reason you've used a compass, the compass needle will point towards north, and that's how people help get home if they're lost in the woods and all of that. The reason that a compass works, and this is going to hurt your head a little bit, is because in the Earth, the North Pole, as we recognize it as the point that is northernmost of the United States. So basically, you're looking at a map of the United States right up towards things like Iceland and Greenland. I'm going to embarrass myself because geography is not my thing. But the things that are up towards the top of the map are not actually the North Pole. They're actually the South Pole. I know, my mind was blown too. So magnetically, the North Pole, as we recognize it on a map, is actually the South Pole. And the South Pole, as we recognize it on the map, so down towards Antarctica, actually magnetically the North Pole. And that is exactly how a compass works. Because the needle that is orienting towards the north, as we recognize it on a map, is attracted to the opposite charge from the magnetically south North Pole. If you're really confused, that's okay. Again, my brain really hurt when I first learned that. It was kind of a fun fact about compasses. You can look it up if you want to know more. Okay, really quick, we're going to talk about electricity and magnetism, and then we're going to be done. So moving electric charge can produce a magnetic field. So again, that's why we talk about these two things in conjunction. So we can actually make a magnet with electric current. The magnetic field generates in counterclockwise circles around the direction of moving electrons. So here we have the current, and it is moving towards the top of the screen. If this is the case, then the direction of the magnetic field is going to follow this arrow. It is going to be counterclockwise around the direction of the moving electron. So it's forming kind of a corkscrew moving down this way. The stronger the current, the stronger the magnetic field that can be produced. So if we are trying to make a magnet with electricity, if we increase the current, the magnet is going to be stronger. So how can we make an electromagnet? So these are called electromagnets. It can be made using the presence of a strong magnetic field or current, and this is how we do that. Electromagnet, temporary magnet made by placing a piece of iron inside a current carrying coil of wire. I haven't had enough coffee today. Oh. Okay, so this piece of iron, this is either like a screw or a nail. If you take a coil of wire and you wrap it around, now again, you have to wrap it counterclockwise, and you're going to have a closed circuit, so you're going to need a battery, which is your energy source. This is the switch. Obviously, if we want this to work, we have to close the circuit. So when you close the switch, this is actually going to turn into an electromagnet. And again, my head is in the way, but at the bottom of this screw here, there is a pile of these paper clips that is in the next slide. You'll be able to see a little bit better. Okay. So here is a better picture of electromagnets. And we're going to talk about the two ways that you can make a stronger electromagnet. So in this picture here, so again, this is if you have closed the circuit, this is what that would have looked like. And you can see that the nail is picking up the paper clips. It's pretty cool. You apply a little current to the nail by wrapping wire around it, and you can make a magnet. So in this, you can see that the wire is pretty loosely coiled. So there's, let's say that there's 10 loops here. So according to electromagnets, if there are more loops of wire, the magnetic field is going to be stronger. So if we've wrapped around 10 times here, and we move down here and we wrap it around 20 times, it's going to be twice as strong and pick up twice as many paper clips. As you can see, there's more paper clips to this one than there is this one. The other way is that we can increase the current. The current is coming from the battery that is our energy source. Again, my head is in the way. But if you added a second battery, similarly, there will be a few paper clips being picked up here, and in this picture down here, there will be more paper clips. So two ways to increase electromagnets: more loops, stronger current. And finally, where are there electromagnets in the real world? In an electric motor. So in your car, there's a device that uses an electromagnet to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. So basically, it is taking that electrical energy from your battery, also the electrical energy that is generated by the combustion of gasoline, and it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's what we'll go with for now. And it converts it into mechanical energy in the form of your wheels being turned. The other example is a generator. So many of you may have one in your house, or at least have seen one in a store, and that actually uses an electromagnet to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. You put some kind of fuel source into the generator, whether that be gas or propane. It uses an electromagnet so when you put the fuel source, whether it's propane or gasoline, it's going to cause an engine turn. The turning of the engine is mechanical energy, and that gets converted into electrical energy through an electromagnet. So we actually have examples of electromagnets all around us. And so that, guys, is it. Just as it was last year, it has been my distinct pleasure to be your science teacher this year. A lot of people have asked me whether I'm going to be teaching y'all next year, and the short answer to that is I'm not sure. The way I understand it now is that the classes are not going to be broken down by grade level, and so there will be me and there will be at least one other science teacher, maybe two. Everyone next year will be taking environmental science, and so they're going to spread the classes amongst us. However, even if I do not have the pleasure to teach you next year, which I hope that I do, at least for some of you, please know that my door is always open. I love all of you so much. You've made my experience as a teacher so wonderful and so enriching, and you guys are the best. I hope that you have a great summer. Please feel free to contact me at any time through email or Remind if you have any questions about anything. And I look so much forward to seeing you all next year. Hopefully, maybe I'll see some of you over the summer. But I hope you have a great summer. Take care, and I will see you next year. Bye.